Yes, we are back here at WLTH 1370M. That's 92.7 in the FM dial. It is 7:44 in the PM, and I talked to you guys about this at the top of the show, but apparently it's going down in the DMs at the senior buildings of America as sexually transmitted infections are surging among older adults in this country. Yes. Cases of gonorrhea among 55-plus-year-olds have grown about 600% since 2020. Good God. Chlamydia cases have quadrupled, while syphilis cases are now nearly 700% higher than in 2010. Oh my God, that is incredible. So why is this happening? Why? Please tell us why this is happening. Rising divorce rates, foregoing condoms as there is no risk of pregnancy, the availability of drugs for sexual dysfunction, particularly for men, like the Viagra and the Cialis. This is what got us into all this. Viagra and Cialis got us into all this right here. And the large number of older adults living together in retirement communities and the increased use of dating apps, wow, are likely to have contributed to a growing occurrence of STDs in over 50s. It is going down. It is going down at the senior buildings of America, apparently. I've been trying to get my peeps together to go to the club when we should have been going to the senior building if we wanted to have some fun. How come y'all ain't tell us y'all was having so much fun over there? Huh? People in my generation are all like, shriveled away and like dying, afraid of dying alone. Meanwhile, you guys are like having a blast, apparently. Experts have offered 5 reasons that explain why the STI rates are rising among older people. Older adults tend to underestimate their risks. These individuals have limited information about STIs, transmission, symptomology, and ways to prevent them. Once again, older people tend to shy away from condoms. Those over 55 may associate using condoms with avoiding pregnancy, not preventing STIs. So you gotta wear your condoms, folks. You gotta wear, no glove, no love. Okay, that's what they told us when we were in school in the 90s and in the early 2000s. I guess we're gonna have to start telling y'all that too, huh? No glove, no love for the over 55s, huh? No glove, no love. This generation rarely considers using protection because they came of age when sex education in school really did not exist. HIV was virtually unheard of, and their main concern was pregnancy. The worst STI of all. Children. The worst STD of all, children. Yes. That's the one I'm afraid of, okay? Educational resources are not readily available in senior centers, residential communities, or doctor's offices. And who wants to be the one to ask them? Like, I mean, good God. We're going to have to start asking people in my generation. We're going to have to start asking our grandparents, like, you being safe out there? Like, they're going to give us the talk, and then we're going to have to give them the talk. Most healthcare providers don't talk to their patients about sexual needs, behaviors, and desires. A significant proportion of these providers believe their older patients aren't generally having sex, so they're not testing older adults for sexually transmitted infections. Wow, that's not good. Older adults often aren't comfortable talking with new partners about their sexual histories. Those dating again after being widowed or divorced can find themselves in uncomfortable terrain. But conversations about sex are very important. Yes, they are. To assess risk, even if challenging, Some relevant questions to ask your new partner include: have you had unprotected sex? When was the last time you were tested for STIs or STDs? Timing is everything. Have that talk before you do the do. Anyone hooking up via app, which older folks are doing, has even more reason to use protection. Yeah, because, man, Tinder, oh my God, man. Let's just not talk about Tinder, okay? Like, yeah. New medications are helping older people remain sexually active. There are drugs for erectile dysfunction. I said that. Viagra, Cialis, as well as injectable medication. Wow. That can help a man achieve firmness, maximum firmness, typically after prostate removal. According to the Michigan study, nearly 1 in 5 men had taken medications or supplements to boost sexual function. For postmenopausal women, there are new FDA treatments for dryness, painful sex, and low libido. So what can we do as a society to protect grandma and grandpa from getting the clap? The old clap. And who needs applause? As the great Ice Cube said. Sexual health screening questions should be a part of every older adult's routine checkup. And STI testing should be offered when warranted. Patients who are sexually active or planning to be need to be proactive with their doctors. It can be a challenge to talk with healthcare providers about sex, especially with a physician who may be much younger, more common the older we get, or of a different gender or sexual orientation. If you're not comfortable, seek out a new provider who might be a better match, or ask someone in the practice who might be a better match. I mean, obviously, this is a very serious topic. Obviously, I brought a little bit of humor to it, but it really is a very serious topic, and we've seen this for quite a while now in this country because of things like Viagra, like Cialis, and other things that are extending people's lives, allowing them to function at a higher quality later in life. But a lot of people still have old values about safe sex. Now, those of us who came of age in the 80s and 90s grew up to have a healthy fear of sex. They told us all we were going to die if we had sex. Like, everybody thinking that just like we were just going to get AIDS from like kissing or something. So a lot of us grew up petrified of sex in the 80s and 90s. But most of you who grew up as boomers or silent generation people do not have that same sort of paranoia. Most of you were married when we were all running around like chickens with our heads cut off, over, thinking that, anything that was different down there was a symptomatic of a disease. I think we've all been there, okay? Because again, during the 80s and 90s, there was a real concerted effort to just scare the hell out of us. Especially after Magic Johnson tested positive for HIV. I want to say that was 91 or 92. Was it 90? I want to say 90. Well, let's just split the difference and say 91, okay? I remember being in school when that happened, and everybody was shocked and stunned that Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard who ever lived in the history of basketball, had tested positive for HIV, a disease that was associated with the gay community and drug addicts and prostitutes and those types of things. Whole lots of people didn't even think straight men could get it. I mean, it was a huge mess. And then in hip-hop, we had to deal with Eazy-E, who was like, the toughest man alive. Eazy-E was the godfather, the father of gangster rap. He founded NWA, which is the seminal gangster rap group of all time. And the machismo, the idea with the machismo and the testosterone, the sort of toughness that came with NWA, you just didn't think somebody like Eazy-E could end up with AIDS. Like it just was a gay disease. It was a junkie disease. It was, even after Magic Johnson, there was a lot of rumors spread by a lot of people about what Magic Johnson was doing out there in Hollywood. But not Eazy-E. No. Eazy-E was all man. And to see him come down with HIV was something that was, I think, traumatizing to a lot of us. So those things formed our upbringing in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. Now, I don't even think young people are really, I don't see the level of paranoia in young people that I saw in my day, in the 80s and 90s and the 2000s. You know, even in the 2000s, mid 2000s, when I was young, still very young, there was still a lot of awareness post Magic, post Eazy-E. Now, I'm not sure about that, but the boomers, a lot of the silent generation people, they weren't active during that era. And you guys got to take care of yourselves now. You know, we don't need you burning. We don't need you burning. You should be helping the young people, you know, avoid these pitfalls and all these traps. So take care of your health, take care of your wealth, take care of yourself.